8, where you like the page, follow our conversation, leave us a comment, indeed, in form of a contribution or indeed a question. We'll be grateful to have a look at it and be able to share it with our guest. Remember, we are also live on our partner radio stations. And it's important that I make mention that we are live on Tuta FM in Mwanza, covering the rest of Luapula province on 90.7 FM. Also on ZFM, that is in Kaperi on 100.3 FM, covering the major parts of Central Province. And not forgetting Spice FM in Kabwe, covering Central Province as well on 91.1. And on the Copper Belt, we are live on Platinum Radio in Ndola, that is on 99.7. We are very grateful that you found time to tune in to the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. And I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. Now, today, we're going to have a conversation around a very a political party that you will probably be hearing of for the first time here. It's been around, but it's important also that we get to listen carefully, because this is a political party that is obviously going to unpack for us a lot of reasons why they are in existence. All right. So later on in the course of the program, I will also give you, our listeners, an opportunity to call in and interact with our guest, and we'll be opening the phone line on 0955 221515. Now, let's get down into it. Let me, at this point, officially introduce my guests. And of course, my first guest is Madam Exildah Mwenya. She is the president of the New Era Democratic Party. It's a pleasure to have you. Welcome to The Burning Issue.
Thank you very much, and good morning, citizens. Good morning, listeners.
Also in the studio is Mr. Simon Mwanza, who is the Secretary General of the New Era Democratic Party. Good morning, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Zachariah. It's good to be here, and thanks for having us. Mtende mkwai kubekaralo konsekumansa kukapiri. Everywhere you are listening from, we are glad that you could join us this morning.
Very important that we get down to a conversation around the president. All right, the president of the New Era Democratic Party. Briefly, or if you don't mind, even in detail, because we have a lot of time, tell us who Exildah is.
Thank you very much. Exildah Mwenya was born 59 years ago in a town called Mufulira. My father was a miner, my mother a housewife. I'm born out of a family of 13 siblings, me being the 8th. I did my primary education and secondary school in Mufulira at Ross Avenue Primary School, and later went to secondary school, Mufulira High School that time. After my secondary education, I moved to Lusaka, where I stayed with my elder sister, late now, Rosemary. May I so rest in peace. And I went to college. I first went to college in 1986 at Nkumbi International College, where I trained in secretarial field. After graduating in 1988, I was privileged then as a young. I applied in the civil service. Those days you would apply through PSMD. And lucky enough, I was selected. And my first appointment was junior secretary in the office of the Solicitor General, who was then by that time Professor Patrick Mvunga.
Right.
Yes. I worked in several offices, in the office of the PS, office of the minister. That was the Minister of Legal Affairs then, which is Minister of Justice now.
Yes.
And later, I was transferred. I went to the Minister of Works and Supply, which is Minister of Infrastructure now.
Right.
And I worked in the office of the PS, office of the DPS, and I also worked for the government printer, the head of government printer. So I've been a civil servant most of the time.
Right.
And later, I diverted. I went into private sector. I worked with Ernst & Young.
Oh, okay.
As a secretary to the managing partner. Later on, I went to NECO Zambia,
Yes.
which is an IT company, and I was admin assistant there to the MD. And later on, as those days jobs were available,
Yes, yes.
you
yes.
would move from one place to
job
as
to
long
the
as you
other,
have qualification. And as a youngster, I moved on to the Road Development Agency when they just changed from Roads Department.
Yes.
They had advertised positions. And I was privileged. I was selected. And God being on my side as blessed from the beginning of my career, I was opportuned to be appointed as executive assistant in the office of the executive assistant and director, a position which I held for 7 years, and I served 4 CEOs.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Later on, I saw that I'd saved too much in that office. And after going back to school, I did management studies at NIPA in conjunction with the University of Zambia.
Right.
So I decided to change my career path into human resource. So I retired as a human resource practitioner. I worked as a regional human capital for Lusaka province. And then later on, I retired in Southern Province as a Southern Province regional human capital officer for Southern Province. I'm a family person. I'm married with 8 children.
But you were almost taken after your parents, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, that is Exildah Mwenya.
Interesting. And so what have you been doing between your retirement and politics?
During my retirement, we retired and went to a farmhouse somewhere in Chilanga.
Okay.
We do farming. Mostly that's what we are doing.
Okay.
Yes. During my free time, I'm doing politics. Yes.
And so when did politics ring the bell to you?
Politics rang bell when I was quite young. My father, besides being a miner, he was a freedom fighter. So we would sit around and he would tell us stories of how he would want one of his children to take over and just liberate, because liberation doesn't stop.
True.
It's a continuous process. So I took it from there. And having interacted in the civil service, known the system, how it works, and I felt the edge kept on coming. So after retirement, I said, why not get into politics now? I still have some energy. I can be in the battlefield. That's where the edge comes. It comes from my father.
Yeah.
Yes.
The battlefield that you chose to enter has been known as not very friendly to the women folk. You were aware of it, and what happened? I mean, you never got discouraged by the fact that that was what was being said, and worse off, at some point, it was called a dirty game.
Yes, well, if we just sit behind as women and say it's a dirty game, it's a battlefield, the majority are women who go to vote. The majority are the women who go out there to look for food. So if we sit back and say, no, the majority, it's a dirty game, it's for men, it's for the rich, we will not liberate ourselves. Nshitaba mayo nishita yakwima. Tupokolole kwe chalo. Tulandile kwa abantu. A woman will speak in the house. Just my absence from home, it will make someone not even have a cup of tea. My absence is felt. So as a woman, you must be involved in this. You may call it dirty. It depends on how you feel it. Of course, now it's dirtier. It's getting dirtier, but we have to clean up the mess as women and normalize this. Because we've seen a lot of insults. It's like politics is about insulting one another. Politics is about name calling, when people out there waiting for us to speak the truth and offer solutions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you went ahead and formed the political party called the New Era Democratic Party. When was this?
Can I allow my SG to pick it up?
Please.
And just give a background
Yes,
of our
SG.
political party.
Thank you. All right. So the New Era Democratic Party was formed by very common citizens of this country, people that felt we also needed to add, our voice in what has been happening in the country. We noticed that Zambians were obviously looking for a different crop of leaders, people who've not been heard of, people who've not been recycled.
Right.
We looked at maybe we needed to have youthful involvement and youthful participation in politics, and we also looked at the participation of women in politics, and that's why we thought, okay, maybe we could add a difference and make things different. So we were first registered in 2023. That was on the 22nd of December 2023. That was when we officially got our certificate, and we launched on the 3rd of May in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. So a New Era Democratic Party was formed on the principle of looking for, putting Zambians forward and putting Zambians first, because we realized that most of the political parties that were around, obviously looking at their policies, looking at some of the things that they believed in, we realized that we could add a very different voice. And so it was, if you go to the Register of Societies today, we are just very common people. Myself, I have a background of a pastor. I've been a pastor all my life, and that's what I'm not like my president here, who's been in the civil service, who's done so much. I've been serving God, and we looked at that combination where you have people. She's retired with integrity. She's retired with a very good name that she's preserved. So look, if we could have people like herself, because like you've alluded to, Zambians believe that politics is dirty and that politics must be left to dirty people. That's why maybe we don't have so much results, because there seems to be a certain caliber of people. Tukana, abantu abalamba, people have come from very dirty backgrounds. Somehow we've left them to be there and run our political affairs, and I think that has not really given us any results. So we thought Zambians are looking for something different. They are tired of seeing the same faces. MMD, PF, some of them, they're even in UPND now. They're still stealing. So Zambians are looking for something different, and that's why we thought, let's position ourselves. So like I've said, go to registrar today. You will find that our office bearers are very common people. Some of them are bricklayers. Some of them are people just running markets. That's how simple we are. So we believe that Zambia can only be liberated by its own people. There's a narrative that has been run in this country for a very long time, where people, for you to be voted in, you must have money. Because by the time they want to leave office, we are very common people, very, very common people, living very common lives. So some of us, you meet us in Basi. So we understand what Zambians are going through. That's what I'm saying. We are very ordinary people, and our belief is that Zambia must only be run by Zambians, and that's how we develop as a country.
Very interesting conversation. And now let's get down to what do you stand for as a party?
As a party, we stand for integrity, honesty, and most of all, we stand for the citizens first. That Zambians should be the first people to acquire land, to acquire businesses, to run businesses. Let's talk of the mines. For many years, mines have been run by foreigners. Where are we taking our graduates from the University of Zambia School of Mines? We've had people who have graduated from time of independence. Why can't we form consortiums of those big brands behind the mining sector? Let them form consortiums and run mines. For the expatriates, we can just bring them for where we need expert knowledge. So for us, we stand for the Zambians as being the first people to enjoy our mineral resources, our country, because we've left this to foreigners. Check out when you go and who are the 5 richest people in Zambia, you find these are foreigners running big businesses. When are our people going to get there? 60 years from independence, we have a situation where we have now gone backwards with the current cost of living. We thought when this government comes in, people thought it was going to liberate 50 kwacha ubunga. Fuel yalabwela pa 12 kwacha. Dollar yalaisabwela 13 hours. But lelo, it has escalated maybe 100, 200 times. Tuwabwelela kunuma. So as New Era Democratic Party, we have said no. And we stand for the people, the differently abled people, the marginalized people in society. That's what we stand for. We are there to speak for them. We are there, they are our employers. We are the employees. What we do usually as a New Era Democratic Party, people may want to know, we go on the ground. We've been on the ground with the grassroots. We listen to the voices, like the SG has spoken. Deliberately jump on a minibus. And people there just start talking. You are hearing what they're saying. You get on another minibus. You listen to what people are saying. So we are there to pick information and start running with it and help the people of Zambia. Because opo tufikide kwena na ngufila bwela next year. Tetfisi unga bwela kuli 50 kwacha. So basically, New Era Democratic Party stands for the voiceless, for the marginalized in society.
Interesting. Now, while you're at it, you've brought out issues really strongly, especially around the fact that mining industry and more mines in this country are being run by foreigners and not Zambians. Give us an idea of how your government be in terms of running the affairs in the mining sector.
Like I've said, we have got people who are just being used like laborers. These are people who put their minds to how the mines should run. We have the likes of Dr. Sixta Mulenga. Those are experts in mining. Have we utilized them? We are very young men and women that have graduated. Form consortiums, like I've said. Come up and run the mines. Let's import a few expatriates. Why are we giving our birthrights? If I ask you today, how many Zambians even know how copper looks like, how gold looks like, how sugilite looks like? Even me passing through, I'll pass through our sugilite, I will not know it because we are not being exposed to our own resources. We have left these things to be run by the expatriates, the foreigners, giving them incentives. When are we going to liberate our people? What we are saying in New Era is we are going to bring in good policies where mining licenses should be given to our own people. Those who are able with capacity to run mines, let them give them licenses, let them run them. Those that are able to form consortiums, let them form the consortiums and run the big deposits than giving them away. When shall we be decolonized?
But are we also, I know you are alive to the cost of running a mine. I mean, it demands for huge capital, or it's capital intensive to actually run a mine. How do you intend as a government to support that? Because Zambians, as they may be, they may not have the capacity financially to invest in mining. I will give you an example. I think recently we were told before we got an investor for Mopani Mines, we were told that it requires over $300 million to just begin, operating it. And you want to think this would be very difficult for even the Zambian government to invest in. So just give us an idea of how you will manage this in terms of empowering Zambians with capital investment.
I'll give you an example. In Africa, we have a very good example right now, Burkina Faso. How have they managed? How are they managing? We have so many mineral deposits. which we can turn into capital. But we have neglected that for so many years. I don't even know why we go to IMF and borrow so much money. Why not then take it to run the mines? We talk of water reticulation, but we don't even see the water situation changing. We talk of we are going to put solar, energy. We don't see that up to now. So we have all the mineral resources that can be turned into capital to run the mines. The mines themselves are self-sustainable.
The SG, do you want to come in as while we are talking around the mining sector before I move to another sector?
Yes, please.
which I believe is agriculture. That's
yeah.
another mine that Zambia prides in. So yeah, let's have your word on that.
Well, the first thing, even before we go to the issue of the mines, I was listening to a radio show this morning, and I'm told there's some investors that wants to invest in our Chinyunyu water spring, the hot spring.
Yeah, it's already a done deal.
Yes. Look at that. So look, we've had that opportunity for a very long time. The Chinyunyu, since it was discovered and declared a national monument in 2019, it's been existing for a very long time. But we had to wait for some investor from somewhere to come and, try and make money out of. And I'm told they are being given a consortium that they will run for the next 25 years, and they'll be collecting the revenue right from our own national monument. So the problem that we have in this country, we have leaders who are not very intentional things seriously. This is why it seems to be a very difficult thing to run our mines. Look, from the unique times to where we are now, where before even the issue of privatization happened, we were very well able to run our own mines. Before all these investors came in, the problem is we just have people not very intentional. We have governments that, number one, have not exposed, number one, get to know how to run the very mines that we're talking about. If that the major revenue that we have in this country comes from our natural resources, then we must, number one, improve the education system. For example, I'll tell you, we had to wait for some foreigners to come from somewhere to come and tell us, actually, you guys have sujilite in your own country. We had to wait for some whites from somewhere to come and tell us that we have the largest copper deposit in Zambia. Now, it means we have not invested enough. Number one, the issue of technology. We are failing to even just buy equipment that can detect that actually where you are standing, there is God. We have to wait for some guy to bring some machine to come and test that the area where you are standing, there is God. This is why I'm saying we are just not intentional about it. Zambia cannot fail, to raise resources, to raise enough resources, which can be able to finance the operations of the mines. Number one, how you do that, you make it easy for mining license to be acquired by citizens. Today, Zachariah, if you go to apply from the Minister of Mines, you yourself to apply for a mining license. Imagine I'm a white guy, you are a black guy, a Zambian citizen. It will take you a lot of years for you to be able to have that. Okay, a white guy will come and they will have that mining license within hours or if not days. But for you to be very difficult, they'll bring in so many requirements which you are not even able to meet. If we told these foreigners that, look, if you are coming to a mine in Zambia, then you must bring your resources and give it to this Zambian who has a mining license. You are working for them and not them working for you. That is where the problem has been. So it's not really like we are not able. We can simply have serious partnerships. The way we have been doing with our roads. We have our PPPs running throughout all the roads that we have. Why can't we do the same with mines? We want to wait until some people come and tell us. Or recently there was an issue in Matero. I don't even know how they stepped on the issue of Matero. You heard that there was some gold discovered right in Chunga here. But as usual, just like the gold at the airport disappeared, turned into silver. The same happened even in. We just have people who are not very honest. Today we have people. Mama offices. Today, ku Minister of Mines, we have people who are being bribed. Okay, for them to give you a mining license, you must have something. And it seems now the issue of Kadarism has not even ended, because we are still seeing it even in this government, whereby people who are in charge of even just these small scale mines, we had the issue of the Kansesele gold mines. All right. locals have discovered here is their God. What did the government do? Instead of going to just formalize, okay, pangenka group, mine. What do they do? Close it up, and they want to make it so easy for foreigners to come and run, even just the gold mine. So, number one, our education system itself does not really allow you to get to know the natural resources that we have. Zambia has not even invested in equipment and machinery that can detect even the gold, the silver, whatever it is that we have. So, it's not like we don't have money, we just don't have the mines that can run our mines.
This is the Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue, and our guest today is the president and the secretary general of the New Era Democratic Party in Madam Exildah Mwenya and Mr. Simon Mwanza, respectively. And so later on, like I said, we will give you, our listeners, an opportunity to call in and interact with them. Now, let's move to agriculture. We know that we are just from talking of a sector that we know is a big income earner for this country. So is agriculture, second to that, or alternative, how is your policy like, as far as Zambia's agriculture is concerned?
Agriculture, if anything, is gold in any given land that is fertile. Look at Zambia. It's a very fertile, climate resilient piece of land. So it's like the SG has said, we just don't have people who are intentional. We only like to focus on things that will make us quickly rich. When the UPND came into government, they sold off the maize reserve without planning what will happen, because drought, whether there's drought, there's no drought, you have to plan. Chaba kwati ni nsala munganda tekulorera ati yo mpaka ensala ikese ero tukayashite fyakulya yo ifyakulya mulashitira limo mwasunga, and you program that if twashite fyakulya fikesa fikapa pakuti tukese fola olo tukakwata endalama ero tukese. Now the government sold all the reserves. For us, agriculture is also priority. I remember the days of the Kaunda. They go back to the land, the national service. We thought, bale chusha abantu, wapishe skulu waya ku national service. People were being trained in skills to be self-reliant, self-sustainable. So as New Era Democratic Party, we are saying our land must not be sold away, which is being done at a very fast rate. Because ponsopo wanyanta Mzambia, pali bomukuba, pali ba gold, pali ba sujilite. So now our focus, the focus now for our current people is to focus on mining. Because everywhere you land, nomba tualaimba fefyonse fibe filongoma, nomba tualani mapesa. Because akabomba kabiye kamunda. Ngataulile teti ubombe. Nomu kubawine teti wimbe. Wala shani unensala. So our focus is to empower our people with agriculture inputs. You have seen how we have gone backwards. People used to get a lot of farming inputs. Now it's in buckets. So why are we going back in everything? For us, we are saying we are going to empower our people. Get the right inputs. Give them land. Let land be accessible to the lowest citizen. That's where we are saying the citizens should be the first to acquire land, to acquire, enjoy the facility of their country. We shall prioritize agriculture, give the necessary inputs, and reserve. Even in the Bible, people were reserving for 7 years. You plan ahead. You don't just plan because ila local yonse na mairo ikesa loka. No. Ero mwasanga na mshtisho mwamu kulomba ku Burundi. It's a shame. So what we are saying, we put more in reserves for a Twalikwata weather, department. They should be able to have equipment that will give us a forecast of how long this drought will go. Then we plan according to that. Not by gambling to say, it may rain. We are blessed this year. It has really rained. Then the pricing comes. Already, as I talk, the farmers, because umland wansala, they've started selling maize that is not even dry. They are not thinking of reserving. So we are going to teach our people to reserve food for themselves, not always selling because they want to go and buy sugar. They want to go reserve first for your family. Before nation, you start, charity begins at home. Reserve for your family before you start selling. Tatuishmeno mtengo for kesa banomba. Tabalafumie mitengo. But people are already selling. So for us is to teach the citizens. Insala nindi minwa, tempulilwa. Not ukuya mukupula. You know? Ngamwa ilimina, you reserve for yourselves first. Then the extra, you sell. So those are our policies to teach education. Education is just not free education. You take the child to school, 2 hours they are back. What are they learning? Where is America? Oh, it's in this part of the world. You start teaching them. Charity begins at home. How are you going to grow? How are you going to look after your family? How are you going to live? You know. So we are going to teach our people. Reserve your meal. Reserve your goods. Take extras for sale. Because we take obule moneka, afyafula fe kufishitisha fyonse. Ero mwaya kulaku ini kufutioko mwashitishe mwamukulomba. So we are coming in with serious policies. Let's give the people our land before it gets exhausted. Citizens should be the first and make it simple for them to acquire land. For now, it's very difficult for Zambians to apply land and give it just like that.
SG, you want to comment?
Yes, please. Other than what the president has said, look, the problem that we've also been, she's mentioned the issue of land. And we still get so worried as a party that we still have not yet, given first priority to our citizens. The same issue of land acquisition that we are talking about, like I gave the example on the issue of the mines. Today, if you go to the council to apply for land, you as a Zambian, even just for your title to come out, you have to fight for it as if you did not pay for it in the first place. So we have so many people who've not really been entitled to land. And the greatest asset that one can have in a country, it is when you have land, So if land is going to be a problem, then the issue of farming will still be an issue. My point that I wanted to stretch was also the issue of education, where the education comes in. Look, we are now dealing with global change, global warming, climate change is affecting everywhere. And we also must look at different ways on what kind of crops we must be able to plant now. You cannot still rely on the same maize that was taking 3 months to be ready in a time like this one. Now, to very early. So we need to have people, our researchers, our scientific researchers must go on the ground, begin to research what type of crop must we be planting. And then as government, look, I still use the word that I think our government has just not been very intentional when it comes to putting our people first, Number one, when the PF were in office, we remember how they started the issue of government farm blocks. Okay, they started one, I think in Kawambwa, there was one that was running in Mkushi. That should have continued. We must have serious investment. We have Bazedians fish. I'll take you just for instance, just this ZNS farm that is closer to the airport. This year, they've only done, I was asking someone, they've only done, I think just about if not 10 acres, hectares of maize. And they've left the entire land. Their land goes as far as the Ngwerere Road, that side. If you pass through there today, it's just bush. They have even failed to just do proper farming, which can at least just save Lusaka alone. But they equipment. They have labor. They have everything that they need. Why is it that this government has failed to empower Nabazedian to make sure that they have really, some of the maize that's why there was an issue of aflatoxin, because we started importing maize, which was not even ready for consumption. Maize that are the issues. I will not talk so much about that because some people have been taken to court for seditious practices over saying that the maize that you are giving to our people is actually killing our people. I've said it anyway. But the truth is, maize that gave us problems when we are able to farm our own maize. The other thing, Zachariah, is that, look, we cannot continue only focusing on the southern part in terms of agriculture distribution. Zambia is big, and if you look at the rain pattern, now it has changed. Akare, 19 shani, closer to 2000, we had a lot of rain. in the southern part of Zambia. It's no longer the same. And we must come into terms with that. Now our rains are found in the Copper Belt, in Northern Province, in Muchinga Province. Even as I speak to you, now it's still raining in Muchinga Province. Okay, it's still raining over there. So we must have deliberate plans to ensure that those parts of Zambia are the ones which becomes now the food basket. Central Province, Northern Province, Copper Belt Province, Muchinga Province, Soka, Kumana Konde, Kuria, Shalina. We must make sure that all the farmers there are empowered. The issue of, remember when the President Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition, he said that fertilizer will be given. If fertilizer, at that time, fertilizer was at 750 kwacha. And he was saying, if I'm going to pay 250. Today, as we speak, fertilizer is over 1,500 kwacha per bag. This is not helping our farmers. And President Hichilema convinced the Zambians to say, actually, me, I'm a farmer. So when you vote for me as a farmer, how food secure we shall be. What are we seeing today? The agriculture sector is in a mess. Okay, so we just have people who are not very intentional, people who are not making, they're not making deliberate policies to ensure that we become food secure. Zambia has got potential to become the food basket of the entire southern region in Africa. We can be exporting, not the issue about Burundi. Burundi had a war. You know, Burundi was fighting just some few years ago, and today Burundi can even donate maize to Zambia. You know, so to me, I don't even know what's wrong with President Hakainde Hichilema. Minister Mtolopiri should have been fired by now on moral grounds, because this is the minister that has failed to tell the president the truth. He found maize. He agreed to the sale of the maize. This same minister knows that the president said fertilizer will be 250 kwacha, and today we are buying it at 1,500 kwacha. What is this minister still doing in office? You know, and when you hear this same minister talk, it's like Mr. Zachariah, people are suffering. Zambians are suffering. Alain Salah, na ingila. Nowadays, there is prostitution everywhere. Kurubuka bolala everywhere. You know, I wish they had pity. Ngabaru mfira kono lusema street vendors. Ngawasanga bakanso bale mapi umumtown for them selling amalemon. Mayoshita amalemon in infra yali lokako. Amalemon yamena. Abantu bale putana mayadi abantu balomba kutuma lemon paka dishi. Ayamgushisha mu city market. Bamusanga bakanso baposa amalemoni bamuma na amapi. Some of them are even imprisoned. Bamubika na police. 1 week umuntu bamsha lock up for selling in the streets. Yet there is no food everywhere. People just want to survive. Believe you me, about 80%, if not 90%, of Zambians today are having at least one meal per day. How can you have a minister who is running agriculture yet to have this? So, for example, you know, harvest. I know of people that started taking a matter before that's how bad the situation is. Today, President Hichilema promised campaign ubunga not abapali 120 muleshita not abapali 130 muleshita ubunga mukalabushita palishinga inenga naisa ukalabwera pali 100 kwacha or even below. Where are we today? In most part of Zambia today, mini meal is 400 kwacha, 350, 400 kwacha, 450 kwacha, including the same ZDNS mini meal that they have introduced. Imagine in Ndikala Kusi Uyunji district, ZDNS mini meal from Lusaka. Will I sell it at 230? Because I'm also looking at my business interest, you know. So this whole thing of bringing ZDNS to sell mini meal and all that, it has not even helped in any way. People are still suffering. If you see Tantame Nide Bako Kubunga, you know, people are camping 3 days. My abantu badia alana load shedding in ishide. If ayofye ina load shedding yashita affect abantu baikala pachi walitwala mataba pa Sunday kuchiga waleko batumukeze senda pa Sunday the other week because amalaiti kuli queue. You know, that's how bad the nation is in a mess. So how can you say that our agriculture sector is running? People are suffering. People are sleeping on empty stomach. As I conclude, even the same issue of the free education that you're talking about, quite all right to have free education, but how many of those children are even concentrating in school? You know, how many of those children are sitting in class? Because you know, you can't concentrate on anything. So we have our children not even going to the same free education because you can't walk, you don't have energy. So things are bad, things are in a mess. So the agriculture sector is really in a mess in this country.
I hear you, and I hear what you're saying. These are common complaints that we've heard several times, even on this program. But to the contrary, the UPND has said it, and said it clearly to everyone in this country, that they have achieved 90% of their promises, right? And today, they are in a tabloid headlined, only economists will see the growth. Non-economists will not see the growth. And I believe you are non-economists. You are the ones that are not seeing the growth. Madam President.
Yes. Like we were saying, if you go in Kanyama, Chawama, are those people, do you know the grassroots? If you have economy, if you have graph na graph abuela, taba fishiba. What people want is to eat properly at a reasonable price. 90% of achievement, maybe in graph form, but on the ground, 90% increment of fuel, 90% increment of minimum, those they've done, yes. 90% cost of living, it has gone up, if not 100 times, 100%. Maybe that's what they are talking about. It's so amazing. Only economists, maybe in their class, because we are being led by an economist, so the achievement, but let's go to the real citizen. Citizens of Zambia. Go and ask them. People are complaining every day. It's about the cost of living. They've achieved in increasing things, yes, that we agree. That is 90% correct, because that's the only thing they've done. And the time is ticking. It's next year. Are they going to manage to reduce the cost of living to the 90% achievement? And I remember just recently they were saying, we are not going to make more promises. Because if you are full of
even themselves are
even
tired.
themselves are tired. We have failed our people. Tatwalandena fimbi mwe bantu bakwalesa. Twalaperera fyapene tuishi betweshi okubwesha kwe mitengo. No, but that rate, I wonder how you can manage to bring down the cost of living.
SG, did you want to say something? 90% achievement of the promises that they made. That's what the UPND has. And they have put this in writing to the citizens.
Well, Zachariah, I know maybe you can't respond to my question, but you just answer in your heart. Do you really think they have achieved 90%? In your heart. Look, when you tell me that they have reduced the millimil to what they said they would, if you tell me that load shedding, if you have done that, no, could do buy it, but the whole day. If they have achieved that, then we'll say maybe they are getting to 90%. If we can say that, today we have businesses closing down. Permalite has closed in Zambia. Most, even just these small businesses have shut down. People are no longer making money to pay for their rentals. You know, you can't run a shop that is costing 15,000 when you have to spend about 10,000 per month on a genset. It's not making any sense. So if you tell me that if you want to end up with then they have gone to 90%. But I think that was just comedy and acting. Jito Kayumba is a very good actor. I think you should work with people from the Arts Council. He's a very, very good comedian. Did you see how when they were portraying that, they had to pretend then that was all jokes that they were playing there. That was an action with a book saying that these are the records that we have done 90%. Like the president has said, the Zambian people don't think that way. Even the economists themselves. I mean, what type of economy do you think is going a graph do they use anyway? Because to me, even if they are coming from the economic sector, you must see that the graph here is dwindling down because people are not eating. Look, when a country is being run, for example, by a lawyer, we in terms of law, things must be in order. When we bring in an economist, I think we deserve better. And that's how you now people have been wondering, was it home economics we were taught, or it was kind of economics that has been played, the economics of increase in order to reduce the fuel. Some few days ago, they reduced fuel by 2 kwacha. Is that sustainable? It's not. So fuel was at 34, they take it down to 32. Is that sustainable? It is not. Because as far as they cannot take it back to where they found it and below, then, which 90% are we talking about? So I think whatever under 90%, they're just jokers.
But of course, they have an argument in defense of the price of fuel going up, that this is a global issue. And I think that, the Russia-Ukraine war has been a major issue in as far as pricing of fuel is concerned.
Look, this is UPND for you. They have defensive, they're very good at defensive mechanisms. Defender, Cornelius Mwenya, he will defend it so well. Because number one, remember that Cornelius Mwenya is a lawyer, and he will try by all means to win a case, no matter what. And to me, he's not even a good person to be, chief government spokesperson, because he was defend even what he knows that this is wrong. Today, countries like Malawi, I'm sure Malawi won't share Malawi. Pa Malawi, if you're paying, fuel is cheaper. We have our citizens crossing over. Fuel Malawi. Okay? Bachoka mu Western province kuja, they are crossing over because they have found the cheaper fuel. Actually, the people just know. I don't know why the issue of Chipata was even making rounds. Go to Isoka. I've lived in Isoka for about 2 years myself. Isoka district, Chinsari district, all the way to Nakonde, they don't buy Zambian fuel. They go into Tanzania. That's where they get their fuel. Isoka district only has one total filling station. And that filling station is usually just refueled, used by government vehicles, not Zambians, not normal Zambians. They put containers in their vehicle, cross into Tanzania, get the fuel, and come back, and they'll be loading through their containers. So it's not even about the issue of Malawi. What are we trying to say? You cannot abana panganda balelire nsala. Mo dadi moneni tatulire elo landati na kuneba kudya na kwena tabalire. There are so many ways. We understand the Russia-Ukraine has caused a lot of damage in terms of our fuel. But look, there are so many ways. Okay? So it seems now mid-domain, there's a mid-domain is managing everything. Because look, Akainde would tell us very well how he's going to remove APA from this country. The Tazama pipeline will start going like this, then we'll have cheaper fuel. What has happened to that? We understand the global effects that has come. There are better ways on how we can make it better for our citizens. For example, why are they delaying to subsidize even just the mini meal? They have left citizens to suffer. That's what we can say. So when you want even to mock Zambians that we have done 90%, it's good that they've been tired of their own promises. So there's nothing we can say.
This is the burning issue. My guest today is Madam Exildah Mwenya, who is president of the New Era Democratic Party, and alongside her Secretary General, Mr. Simon Mwanza. And later on, very soon, I'll be opening the phone lines for you to call in and interact with our guest. But before we do that, let me get the future of the party. We have general elections coming up 2026 next year. We have gone through a period of alliances. This party joins an alliance, this party comes out of an alliance. Are you that party that is thinking of working with a different political party, or are you that party that is thinking of getting into an alliance with other political parties? Is it the UPND? Is it the Tonse? Is it the UKA? We just want to find out how your future looks like. Are you a party that's going into 2026 general elections as a party on its own?
Thank you very much, Zachariah. That's a very good question. For us, I'll tell you, we've been through it all as a new baby, because when you are born, you don't just start walking there and then. You have to have, crawling, standing, and that's what we've been through. When we just started, we were on our own. Then we saw UKA. We saw it as a good thing. We were there. It was in UKA. Right. Yes, we were in UKA.
Yeah.
Then we had a few problems with our colleague. We may not decide to talk about, and maybe the SG will touch on that. We moved out, And we started working on our own. We were invited by Tonse by invitation. For Uka, we had applied to join. But Tonse, we were called. I'll proudly say we are part of the pioneers of the Tonse Alliance. How? We penciled in the constitution of the Tonse Alliance. We were part of the team that developed that document. We sat there. And along the way, we've pulled out. As we sit back,
What was the reason of pulling out of Tonse this time?
bamukolwenga bafula tabucha bwangu. I think that statement. And when you leave a place, you leave quietly. Just close the door silently. Because tomorrow is unpredictable. We saw that we were not moving. We saw we could not have a platform to speak like we are speaking. There were few things here and there, but we sat down as a central committee and we said, we are not moving. We are not getting known. We are young. As a small political party, let's start promoting our own political parties. Let's develop our own structures.
Right.
We are quite new, very new. So as we sat behind, another partner started talking to us, and that's President Kalaba. He called us on a few occasions, gave us his manifesto and how he wants to move. And we said, we don't want to go into finance. We have graduated. We are now at PhD. So we want to work as an equal partner now, because now we are ripe. We have learned a lot. You know, sitting under the council of President Lungu, we learned a lot from him. And we owe him our sincere gratitude. This will say without fear or shame. So when President Kalaba came to us, he said, look here, colleagues, I want to hold hands with people of like minds. I've trailed your record, how you have been functioning as a small entity that has just begun. Here we are. Can we work together? And we agreed. New Era Democratic Party is not participating in 2026 general elections. We have agreed with our equal partner, Dr. Harry Kalaba, that is going to be our flag bearer, and we shall support him. You know, in life, you need to have gatekeepers. You need to have burden bearers. We are going to hold him as his burden bearers. We are going to run with him on this marathon. Our people, abantu balelolela, balefa okwishiba bushekanshi ni nani akabapa baloti. Ifwe twayipereshanga ba New Era Democratic Party, we sat as a central committee and agreed, very intact central committee, and agreed, this is good. We have no time to waste. He is a person who is consistent with a lot of integrity, and a person who has made and said citizens must be first in whatever you do. They are the biggest employers. He respects citizens. Number one, above self. I'll take you, this man is a person who resigned out of principle and integrity. Being a foreign affairs minister is a huge privilege. You have all these facilities, amenities that come with that position. And out of principle and integrity, he gave it away. How many of our government leaders can simply do that unless they are fired or they are talked to, you resign before I fire you? That's the only way. But he came, looked at those principles, the character. This is the person we feel can look after the citizens. So we've joined hands with Dr. Harry Kalaba, and we will rally behind him as our flag bearer. I think That's what I can say about general elections. If you look, he came third in 2021 of the elections. And we assume he's going to get there because the promises have failed at 90%. So he's consistent, focused, character. I'm sure you have not heard him insult anybody. Even the government of Zambia has recognized him. They have given him a platform for rallies. Not that he's a new PND project. No. That man is principled. And the government has seen he has a lot of peace. Just like his symbol, Chintelelwe, shadow. He's disciplined. Have you heard when he's holding a rally, there's bloodshed and so forth? No. He has covered the whole Zambia. He has participated in so many by-elections. Some may say after all he fails. Yes, it's you test the water. Get a litmus paper and test the waters. So that when you go around the next time, people of Zambia will know that he's a very peaceful man. Amen business. Even the government has recognized that by giving him platforms to hold rallies. So that's the person we are supporting, sir.
Thank you very much. And very brief, if in case you'd like to add to what the president has said, SG.
Okay. Well, I think she has said a lot about our candidate, our preferred candidate, and our endorsed candidate for 2026. President Harry Kalaba is one man that we've personally interacted with several times, and we've come into terms that actually Zambia will be a lot safer in his hands. Look, he recently also left UKA, citing a number of reasons, and I think to me he's a very, very progressive man that wants to see difference and a change. The president has mentioned on the issue of him participating in every by-election. You know, he's a man who wants to make sure that whatever happens in the country is very much concerned. And he's a very peace-loving Zambian who has been everywhere. Today we have some opposition leaders who can't even go to Southern Province. Kalaba has had meetings in Southern Province. He's been there. So we look at him as a unifier. He's somebody who will bring all the 73 languages and the tribes together. You know, today we have people who seems to be very divisive. They bring division. They can't go to certain parts of Zambia. They feel they should concentrate on some certain parts of Zambia. So we are generally looking at somebody who is going to bring the entire country together. And that's the person that we found in President Harry Kalaba. And just to say that he's a very principled person. I mean, he resigned from the PF government at a time when, I mean, he would have said, hey, Fiabo, if you let me make my own money, you know. To me, even if he went to the UPND, he would have resigned by now. I don't think he would have loved to work with people who have given Zambians a minimum at 400. Because the reason why he left PF was because he said PF was, had a lot of confusion, and also they were corrupt. So I don't think Harry Kalaba would have been in UPND today. So that's the type of person that we are talking about. And from our interactions with him, we feel he is very, very determined to see Zambians first, like his political party says. Going into this partnership with him, it's not an alliance, as the president said. We are simply being equal partners. You know, we are simply bringing something on the table. You also bring something on the table, and we move forward. So going forward, you'll see us on radio stations with him like this. You'll see us on rallies with him like this. You'll see us on TV with him like this, because we just want to save the Zambian people. That's what it is.
Thank you very much for that. And of course, this is the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. We are live not only on 5FM radio on 89.9 in Lusaka and the surrounding areas, but also on Spice FM in Kabwe on 91.1 FM. Also live on Z FM, that is 100.3 FM in Kapiri, covering the rest of Central Province as well. And also on the Copper Belt, live on Platinum Radio, 99.7 FM, and live on Tuta FM in Mwanza, covering the rest of Luapula Province on 90.7. We'll take phone calls, and remember that our guest this morning on the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue is the president of the New Era Democratic Party, Madame Exildah Mwenya, and alongside her is Mr. Simon Mwanza, who is the Secretary General of the party. I will take your phone calls on 0955-221515, and let's see if we can pick this one up. Good morning. Hello. Dauka Mwakabwanji.
South Africa. This is the woman Sanjay calling you from Kenda Central Zambia.
Woman Sanjay.
Mwauka bwanji maligazi mu nyumba ya mpeko.
Tauka wa
Tauka
Musanje,
mwauka bwanji wa
mwauka.
Msanje.
Ntauka bwino mfumu zanga. Toyambirira nibonge niziko mukuti mukwalisa kupanga zipani. Ndipo amene zifunika kunkalira. Koma jani mene jani pasa madandaulo ni chinthu chimodzi. Pamene apa mukali kukonzeka mwayamba kusapota winangu munthu kuti ndiye ali kutsogolo. Kuti mwanipereka pansa amayi bine umanyazirika president watika. Kupepereka kuti kusapota mwamuna kuti. Iyo yeza amayi siningakuna meni yaipa. Namba 2, mwagamba kuti chipani chanu chifunika kukula. Chifunika kukula. Koma ndiye makulidwe amene aya. Yaya mai muchijeko zira otherwise nisi kulidwe amene anga chose UPN ya anisi akati mwe mazimai munkala futi kumbuyo wapuna bakusebenzeseni kuti munkale bamposa mabwe. Amanyozo family yayi mumunika kuyimirira na malamulo yanu yokwanira kuti muzachitira chani mazambia. Yanga nani chipani cha UPD. Pero vantu mukamba kuti yayi jareka njala. Njala sima bwera jade ngati nkuku ikwanisa kuyamba kuyakula yaula kuti ipeze chakudya. Watipo muntu government yakuuzani kuti kuli mafamu yamene yopalala. Chikana apply. Ipi ma-settlement ndiyo amene mfuna chikana apply. Iwe muntu ukana ati ndifuna chabe kuvala uniform nizimenya vantu nizitengera vantu market ndalama. Chala singasire pa nyumba pako chifukwa yo Mungu anakupasani kuti iwe kutupeze chakudya ni kusebenza. Pakuuzani kuti yayi. Maloni aliko kalimeni unga si problem sichoka kuilaki unga kizilimira teka ni 3 months chane wachokako mu patisupe la force kwani uzangala muntu wa bwanji omega ziko mu yanga nani endane kumuzilero so bantu banaiva lako kudana hivyo vaunga vaze DNS wanu wapite kwacha wachani ivanu hivyo petitenga jado 1 team poko taenda ugaisa kumazuo wana vaselebrika vakuta. So tinjani zero support wa mapati ya kudala.
Thank you very much, Woman Sanjay, for calling. And right, he's gone. I was about to ask him a question that would he have the same sentiment if you were to join the
That's
UPND.
exactly what I wanted to.
Whether he would still say no, don't go and stand on your own. And but anyway, I hear him. But thanks very much, Woman Sanjay, for calling. Always a pleasure to have you here. 0955-221515 is the number you're calling us on if you'd like to be a part of this conversation. Our guest is Madam Exildah Mwenya, President of the New Era Democratic Party, and alongside Mr. Simon Mwanza, who is the Secretary General of the New Era Democratic Party. I'll take 2 more calls and then I can let you respond. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Mr. Lungu.
Mr. Lungu, where are you calling us from?
From within Mazabuka.
From within Mazabuka. We are grateful. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Yes, I wanted to find out, first of all, morning FG and the President.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Lungu.
Maybe just turn down the volume on your radio, sir, completely, because then you are waiting to hear us from your radio, and then you're taking forever to have a conversation with us. Yeah, please.
Yes, are you able to get me?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just a question to the President and the SG. Do you think moving from Dolce to Mr. Karawa, you have made the right decision? If he That is yes, because me, my thinking, you as a growing party, needed to get experience from Mr. Lungu, because he has been there. That man seems to be a good man compared with Ari Karaba. I don't see you growing with Ari Karaba as compared to Mr. Lungu. And the way you're educating issues, you're educating very well. I have seen you're headed for greater heights. But you need more, I think, my thinking, like moving from Tonse to where you are now, I think you have gone a step backward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lungu. We appreciate your call right all the way from Mazabuka. And let me take one more, and then I can let you respond to those concerns raised on 0955-221515. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, you are speaking to the spokesperson for Luapula Kapambwe. I'm calling from here in Zingalume, sir.
Bakapambwe from Zingalume, thank you very much for calling. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Madam, mwavuka shani mkwai.
Ashubuka fya mtende baishani tata.
Aho tulishiye bulino n'abakana b'esoko kuti mwabamposesha bulina bena esani pale.
Batotera mkwai.
Mkwai. Mfuila wanjira mushitu tomfwe swaswa. Amakolazi bamubagalati mabakumikula. Elo bamu bakona ulamulando wakwati baliberesha bamu CDF kolazi so mubena bena care ficho nga apalese kisumata bafwaya. Fwe kumnye sukulu wapula tuwadibane ichililo kuli ipate one yali lete nsala yali stisha mataba ya shireba PF apatila chitotila tuenda n'emipango chitotila na chilango tiba bakatatu waishiba nsala baletere mukomboni tuwa mfwano luse mayo kalaba opposition party unkote experience chimonga chakwadi mwayabula mumbipili palia bonsera abakwata experience ukuchira ba president abalipo tabako mumfimbo 70 ukushwa mapension kushira apa boundary naperera tetimperere apalero babana bena pack apa ambassadors abo bale batabinga babompesha amashuwa yavi kubantu abamukwinina mufyalo ayabula nokuwama mayo poseni kwa mano kalava fwebo ngata pali lungu ulipo tuishire ni kalava trefu hapo muntu wakwate experience lube mwama Zambia ni bachile uvoto muntu ukwete push kwete experience ushaingira po governance ili yonse. That's why kula tikasawila nsala mayo amataba bashija ala mayo nsala abantu balelile ipate angufye chipeneti lichonse bie ichike minina kupita tokala banati jobutira experience politician kabombe ni nankwe wafweni neshi wimulela ndebyo kwa sound takufume chivume bekula kumufulira ni shwaishi bokutira nga wamuno wakumukulira kuingirira uchiye kumyesu kujya ni shwasha no kutati ninkakeye mayo kosa toko wa general secretary tuline mwe background abapena apa na chibobokanizira bae batinwa chaka poli na chipeneka mumfwila ko bombeni bwino ababena baleya batilwa bombeni bwino mayo lesabene
Twatasha mkwai ba Kapambwe tvari kwa badishwa makaya alunsonga
Na center.
Let's hear your response to those sentiments that have come through by those three callers.
Thank you very much. I will begin with first. I will thank Mr. Kapambwe. Twatotela batata ba Kapambwe pamashu yanko sho mwatupela ichine amatwi yena yambi twakula ko mafye twaisala elo batila amano mambulwa utala wa sefa mo asenda mwefisuma twatotela sana mkwaipa mashu yanko sho I move to Mr. Lungu from Mazabuka. Thank you very much, Mr. Lungu. You say, do you think you have the right decision to move out of Tonse? Mr. Lungu, I will say, do not judge the book by its cover. If we, like I said in my preamble, we owe Mr. Lungu. He's a great man. That can't take away from him. He's full of wisdom. He took us as his own children. If you check, even Iwakalaba respects that man. I'm sure you have seen a few interactions that they've had together. I think on 3 occasions, even when he was leaving the country, he said goodbye to Kalaba. So do not judge the book by its cover. If for mwamona fe ni shefo chiri kunse mukati tafiri bwino. Mr. Kalaba holds Mr. Lungu in high esteem. And that's one thing we respected him for. Mr. Lungu is a statesman and will not run away from it. He may have had his weaknesses, which people saw, but you can't take away something from him. We respect him very much. Our leaving Tonse, I can say, was intentional. The people of Zambia are waiting for a liberator. They are waiting for a David to remove the Goliath. Insala abantu bale pitamo. Uchushi. Olo mwika lefe muli mu conference room. Muleta tawila fye. Mulela kafye. Abantu tabeshibe. No ukabe mini nako. Ifwenga ba New Era Democratic Party. We said, yaba kwete experience ni aba. Aba fimbide nsakwe. Ewa tuwombe na weba fishibe bwino. Efe tuwasela. Balungu tuwaliwa chindika. That you can't take away from us. Vamunsanje. Ati chifunika kukula Ati muyendani chabe mutenge maloni. I wanted to ask Mr. Munsanje a question. Nga tuachilanda ati yo tuwasela tukasapota ba UPND. Nga mwachitweba tishani. Elo amaloni yenu mulela ndapo ya free. Tali kubwata. Nomba abantu tabakwete ndalama shakutibese babwishishi. So isho ndalama shikafye kubona ushi. Tashaka bwerere ku government na kabiri. Abantu barefira okubwesha. So, ifo echo tusalirepo, echo twala chindika. Atotela mkwaye.
SG, did you want to say something out of those 3 calls?
Yes, I think just one I would respond to Mr. Lungu from Mazabuka.
Right.
First, I'm glad to hear that Mazabuka is joined. Opu mwabuka kabo tunyonso kwa Mazabuka. Tuamwaha wonse. I wanted to say that leaving first, remember we left Uka. And where is Uka today? Okay. We've also left Tonse and we have reasons. Like the president has said, do not judge a book by its cover. Elaka yunganda by kumbo from Tenge. Kutu walmona finganda yo wale monika wino. Kano wipushaba mkati. Elo what has been happening. We still hold the 6th Republican president in very high esteem. Actually, if the day we hear that he's coming, we'll be the first ones at the airport to welcome him. He's a father that we love so much. We love President Lungu. And some of you have no idea the kind of sacrifices that we've made for President Lungu. We've been everywhere with him. You know, we've sat on the same table. We've eaten on the same table with him. You know, he accepted us the way we are. And I mean, we owe him a great, great deal. And when he comes, we'll still sit down because some of the reasons why we left, he is not yet previewed to that. So we still owe him an explanation why we resigned from Tonse. So we're waiting for him to come. And his guidance and his wisdom will still be what we will cherish. And people should not see as if there's any enmity between him and the President Kalaba. To the contrary. Like the president said, when he was leaving Zambia, President Lungu and Kalaba chatted over 3 hours on phone. And when he arrived in SA, even there, they've been chatting. So you cannot say that we've made a wrong decision. Wise people and people who are open-minded who know what I'm talking about. So anyways, we are not laboring much on that, but us joining President Kalaba, and remember, this is not an alliance. We've only made an endorsement, and we'll support him until he's on the ballot, until he wins 2026. Thank you.
Yes, let me take some more on 0955221515. Good morning and welcome to the burning issue. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Mr. Zach,
Yes, sir.
Mulenga the go-to for food.
Yes, Mulenga. Always a pleasure to have you. Yes, Mulenga.
The president, Mulishani Mkwai, and our secretary general.
Rifyo mtende tata mulishani.
Oh, Mulechuren, sana. Okay, awe insarate ino ya amba. Nangu bengalanda ti sakan 20 kwa chakula chao. Tulefona wangu kwa chao telenpanganda. Esho chaba. Mimi you know, ifo kutima pishaba Zaki. Ifo takwa ba current affairs or current news itupita. Mula isa patilimba mule kita search first. Since mwala aleta question, for example, kuli Peter Sinkamba, baleta issue ya. But the more from land direction, she put a question which is because the Tomrela and the meteorological department were to them. If you are land up work almost every day for 2 for. If you to Tomrela and the agriculture, unheard of Minepo room, therefore, and this of you. So she in any motion for your phone channel so mulend. But opposition standing research, we have to come up with nature and the home novel, and with your wallet. Let any question to see so that now government, young for Yalanda, for example, we teach us in Cambe from where, but teachers in Camba government in a chapel of Yativalo, the Chapo, and the Kubanat, issue Yabas in Camba. Any populizia shamba. Because they want to go under question, not to put the agriculture, to state. If you don't say Valanda and you said NBC, not to another every day. Current affairs, even if we were that is to Romfaku news in Gavale Velenga, or Millennium, or DC Radio. In Ama news in Shaba, what you to our against Navena, to Romfama, to the Papa Facebook, to the Stamba. So sometimes Landian question to see you. We have to come on this machine. We like a bit. I'm Sunday now. I'm able to go. Playamba fyo kwenda mwambo n'okula kita indoors. Yes, so nishimwa eba niebe atipange ni paka pati ero mkese kita indoors. Nishitamu ishile fyo mule kita. Nishitamu telepo efintu isi ya new. Mulivena 2 days mwapanga pati ati hao tulesa puta chiti. Ebyo mukatitira abantu eshumfire fyo mulandirepo because if you don't fyo mulandirepo yakala iyo ishikaya mwashala naye landeni kwesiri new efyo mukatitira abantu bamitite convince neve byakulaisa bite byakula shout abantu yo kairi ma pressing azoroshani politics type ikaso imwe landeni zechikalamba sana landeni efyo mukatitira abantu chintu ichikalamba pese kwa pali no shitaba Edgar Rungwe bekali omutendeko bali tulande sintu singi pali bena because eosi yabo tetushibe buno bwino.
Thank you very much.
Tulande sintu sibi ba part of the nation although abene balapwayo okuyifumya hapo mulando wakwe bati tabakuto omukishi you know umuntu ngolepwayo omukishi ku bantu mukibemba tulanda ubufumu bwikindiko obwine ngolepwayo omukishi kindika abantu nawero bala kukindika nga mwanisa na vibe kalanguage mulera ndakwati mwe omwaishu afyonse wasanga pap down je to abazaki balishu babo kwesho bulapula na totera.
Natasha Sana Mulenga for calling. Let me quickly take 2 more calls on 0955-221515. That's the number you're calling us on. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you for calling. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, this is Kasweka.
Kasweka.
Yes, calling from Saka West.
Yes, Kasweka, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Madam President and the SG.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. On the issue of economic growth, I beg to differ with you. Economic growth, I'm not an economist, but then I do a lot of reading with regards to the issue of economy, and we can get examples from other countries. like China. No, China started in same path, but it was not an overnight venture. They took a long time to be well. So what we need is to grow our economy for a long period for us to see the results. As it stands, we are headed in the right direction. But we need to sustain this for a long period of time. And maybe even think of increasing our growth from the current 4 or 6 predicted to even double digits. Because if we follow the China model, you are going to understand that in China, as we speak today, despite being the second biggest economy, there are still people who are still living in poverty. So for them to go where they are, they sustain that economic growth for the past 20, 30 years. So even as, when you see indicators of growing, yes, let's just accept to say, okay, we're heading in the right direction. But what you not see is having an immediate impact. I think let's try to educate people in that direction, not necessarily saying they are doing nothing. On that one, it's a good thing you have identified President Harry Kalava as a good leader. I like him also. But then you guys have to start educating citizens that we're heading in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
you, sir.
Kasweka.
Yes.
Yeah, all the best and have a good day. I will take one more call, then you can quickly respond so that we can later again see if we can take some more. I will be going to the Facebook page after a round of after a round of calls. So let me take the third one. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you, Brother Alex? Brother Chisha?
Brother Trisha, yes.
Yes, Brother Chisha. I haven't heard from Brother Alex for a long time, you know.
Indeed.
Yeah, and for a minute I thought it was him. But always a pleasure to have you, Brother Chisha, and please quickly go ahead.
Thank you so much, Zach. Madam President and the General Secretary, how are you, sir?
Very well. How are you, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you so much. First and foremost, I'm here to tell you that the politics is like football clubs. You belong where you feel comfortable. You have a right to support anyone you feel like supporting. In short, what I'm saying is that don't feel intimidated by people who are telling you that you can't. Talking about it is not to me. No, that is.
Brother Chisha, your line is getting a bit bad.
Are you able to get me now, Zach?
Slightly again, it's a bit muffled.
I don't know. What about now?
Much better. If we can keep it there, thank you. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
maybe it's a network.
Yeah, it is. Please go ahead.
I hope you are able to get me now.
Yes, we are able to get you.
Yes. My only fear is that the opposition to get divided, you are giving advantage to the ruling party. You know, there is this saying which goes like, united we stand, and divided we fall. Zambians, as we are speaking, Madam President and the General Secretary, they are in a crisis. It is my first time to hear people surviving on Gaga. Gaga is not food for people, but for animals. And for you to go and support maybe the President Kalava, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said before, you have a right to support any you feel like supporting in Zambia. But are you not Are you not having a consent of dividing the votes? Because by putting your heads together as opposition, I thought it's going to bring a lot of sense where elections is concerned. Because we all know that the major challenge we are having at the moment is the suffering of Zambian people. Madam President, I want to believe you have gone around and you have seen how people are suffering. And if you are going to divide votes by not getting united as opposition, don't you think you are going to give advantage to the ruling party, of which Zambians are going to suffer more after 2026? You're not telling us reasons why you decided to quit Tonse, but according to you, you are saying you decided to quit Tonse because of Mkowenga flat. That's what you said, Madam President. So as I conclude, don't you think you are giving advantage to the ruling party? Because, to be honest with you, I'm not here to be campaigning President Kalaba. He's a good leader. But to win an election as an individual, it is almost impossible. Even if you are going to support him, to win the elections, come 2026, it's almost impossible. So in short, why can't you just rethink of putting your efforts together as opposition to liberate the Zambians who are suffering? That's my contribution there.
Thank you very much, Brother Chisha, for that. And addition to Brother Chisha, I would want to ask this question, in addition to Brother Chisha's comment or question. I am aware, because I interviewed President Kalaba not long ago on this program. And as things stand, at the time when we were having an interview, he was being requested to join Tonse, and he asked Tonse to put it in writing, and that his central committee will sit down, and he depends on the decisions of the central committee. And if his central committee decides that it is only wise that we join Tonse, what will be your position as a party? In the meantime, that is an addition to Brother Chisha's question. But for now, other callers that called before Brother Chisha. Brother Chisha and my question, if you don't mind.
Well, let me start with from Rapula.
Right.
He said you are just recycling issues. Everyone who comes talk about the same thing. Vamulenga pale komaile nondo nishipali ubulema. Elo abingoko wa teminina. Echetekela bamulenga wesu ichibemba mwachumfwa. Icha abantu bonse baleishila pano nokulalanda ekintu kimo kine. Nishipali ubulema obukalamba. Nga finta kwebati abantu bakwanisha bwino nga tatulelandapo. Lelo pantu ubulema na bukula kunsala, kumipengo, kumafuta ya mumyotoka, na fikula. Echa abantu baletira nga baisa pano, baisa akomailapo. The policy by President Sinkamba, it's a good thing. For us, we'll not right away. What is good is good. Even the UPND, whatever good they've done, as we acknowledge, the good is good. Nombe fivinga fiafula. Ulu balala lumo, lulo naula neshinankwe. Ndechetekela mwaumfatata. Ifu echo tuachilanda po chimbio tutuleko mailapo. Nipa ama mines. Ama mine yesu tuwalialekedesha minwe yaba mwisa. I think echintu ichikalamba na tuachilanda po echakwati. Tuwalikwata abana n'abalumendo nene n'abantu abakalamba abatangirira abana abasambirira pa fya mikoti. Abo benga panga ama consortium. Chinshi tuwalekerera mine yabafye mu minwe yaba mwisa. Ero nefwebe ne kuti tuwakwanisha 60 years of independence. Tuchiri tuletwe kwa mwili ashiria mine. Na totela mkwai. I go to Mr. Kasweka, Lusaka West, economic growth. We are on the right path. We are headed for, and he spoke about the China model, which is the second biggest economy. The indicators may not be immediate, but the impact will come later. Mr. Kasweka, thank you very much for that. My brother, Eva tulelanda, chakwe bati nsala mchalo na ichilamo. Ero ensala nga yakilamu. Mulaba efintu ifikala mbe fikitika. Our own children mumayandomu. They've become vagabonds. Prostitution is on the high. Mukwewa fyati balete kwe fyakulya panganda. Naba fyashi, we've lost family values because of that. If the government can come up with immediate measures to curb the cost of living, we shall applaud them. But do they have that time? Of course, this economic trend can continue. But are the people of Zambia going to wait? Very soon we will see malnutrition. A pregnant woman is not feeding according to the nutrition values that they are supposed to have. Yes, they may say the growth, the economic growth, we are heading towards the double digit. But are the people waiting for that growth? That should be running alongside improving the standard of living of our people. Ukutuleshitama economics. A person in the village will not understand that economics. Very much. Mr. Chisha,
Yeah.
dividing the votes, bring the people. You may say we are dividing the votes. We are not. We are all in opposition. And Zachariah did ask to say President Kalaba was invited to join Tonse, and he said he will put it in writing. And he's waiting for his central committee. Well, if that happens, we'll still rally behind him. Even as we go to Tonse, we will not change our perspective about him. That's why I said, when you leave a place, leave quietly, close the door silently, because tomorrow is unknown. Ukabwelela kolimbi. Songa wafuma munganda nangu ichupo chapo, balabala esunda na pabedi, mwatira na shani. Mairo mwaisate mwana na kabiri. Ukomfwenso nishakubwela kwa bantu bakala kusekati. Te balabala ndile sani, abo babwelela ko. We give credit to Tonse, and that's why we said we left silently. Thank you.
You left silently. Appreciate that you left silently. But if the party you've decided to go into eco partnership with, which is Citizen First, decides to Tonse, meaning you, on that account, you will still go back to Tonse. But if he decides to consult you further whether he should go back, he should join Tonse, what would be your advice?
We'll continue working according to what we have put on the table.
Would you still tell him to go back, or you would rather forewarn him? Because you're coming from because you have experience of being in Tonse.
Yes, we have experience.
Would you let him go into Tonse, having experienced Tonse yourselves?
That is subject to discussion. We will not preempt everything here. Sometimes it's
because you
better.
must be an honest eco partner.
Yes,
and you are in this
we'll be
for the truth.
And we have been speaking. We've been talking. There are certain things that President Kalaba would wish to say, if I were to come, I'll need this, and this to be in place. Just like
is that what would be your advice to him, to say, look, go in there with your conditions set, or else? With
conditions set, of course. Because if you go in there and then you just start talking and quarreling and this and that, I'm sure.
Is that what you experienced?
Things,
did you experience quarreling in Tonse?
I'm sure social media spoke for itself.
No.
Ourselves.
Social media can be very misleading. We
experienced a little bit of, you are a small political party and then you are not considered to be anything. You don't add value to the setup. So we thought, here we are. As we have been on the ground.
Was this from members? Was this from fellow political parties, or this was from the leader himself of Tonse?
The leader is an angel. I'll continue saying this.
Why
is he
tolerating that?
Well, it's subject. That's why we say on arrival, we would like to meet him and face him face to face and ask him questions that we have reserved. which we want to come and ask. And then we'll
Why
come out
didn't you
and
wait a little longer then for him to return and leave? And what if he was going to give you a very good positive counsel to stay?
Teminina. There is no time to sit, and then if we were still there, we were not even going to appear here. There were so many restrictions, so to say. But I don't want to put mud on anybody. We come from different ideologies coming together, putting heads together. But in every setup, there must be respect for everybody.
Is this
in an organization?
Is this an indication to other political parties that the smaller you are, then don't think of going into Tonse because you will be trampled upon?
Well, it
go into
depends
Tonse
on
as a big party, maybe. Is that what you're saying?
It depends on what they are going to put on the table. In an organization, Mr. Zachariah, you have to respect even the lowest, the sweeper. Because if we came here today and this place was dirty, we were not going to start this program. We were going to wait for the sweeper to sweep around and everything, put everything in order. Then you as a CEO, you just walk in. And the lowest person can be your savior. Say, I'll take you, say, you go to look for a piece of land. You go to survey an area, they say there's a piece of land here. You go there. Don't demean anybody you find along the way. Nipe sapali landi. Chakolwa ula wini omwasu ula uli ati nchi chakolwa. Chaisa chile. Pusha chila chine. Na wishu wako landi hapo. Akesa kwa tia papali yana abantu 5. Muishita. Nombanga wampitiriza chakolwa uli. Wala yashita landi yashita abantu 10. So in every area of life, respect anybody who you come across in life. You never know where they will lift you. Thank you.
Do you think the opposition or the future of opposition is in Tonse or not?
It could be there, it could not be there. We are still on the journey.
Mr. Chisha is challenging you and your eco partner that going into the election alone, it's a huge tall order.
That's why we've said.
And he says the future is unity of opposition.
We have lifted President Kalaba as our flag bearer. I'm not going to be on the ballot, so I've reduced the burden. So it's up to the Tonse, bring something on the table that will be acceptable to every partner and show respect for one another.
Yeah,
Mr. SG, yes.
Yes, just to come in on that. I've loved how my president is bringing out these issues. Well, I want to first mention that we are more Tonse than most of the people who are in Tonse today. Like she has said, the idea of Tonse, it was first brought to our attention at a time when nobody knew about it. We've put documents together. We've agreed and assigned documents that we ourselves brought up ideas on. And we've seen people come to join. Those who were in Uka have now come to Tonse. We were the ones who were coming people. And our president here was even given a position, top position, big position of being women's chairperson for Tonse Alliance. So when you see people leaving such a position, you know, when you see people that started the thing leaving, then obviously there's something wrong. And it's sad that maybe people would think we are doing it out of our personal interest of anything. If you think we have personal interest, then you would have seen us in UPND. Because even UPND has come. They've given us offers on the table. But we've said, look, we are not in this for the money. We are not in this for the fame. Okay? We're not part of the opposition because we want to enrich ourselves. No. We want to see a better Zambia, a transformed Zambia, a Zambia which is respected. That's what we want to see. And so we've turned down requests from the opposition, from the ruling party, for example. And it may interest you to know that Tonse is still a home that will still go and knock today. And the doors will be opened if we want to. When we left, we have a lot of leaders from Tonse who've come, asked us to go back. And we've told them, look, let's try and get organized first. President Hari Kalaba also has been invited. And I'm sure they're also considering what happens there. If he decides to go to Tonse today, we will tell him of our experience. We will tell him what to expect. And if he thinks he's strong enough, he goes there, we'll still go and support him even in there. What we are talking about is that we've realized that we were just dragging. Look, Tonse was formed some quite months ago. And we've seen that, we're just in Lusaka. Zambia is not Lusaka alone. Okay? We were not able to be given platforms like we have, even be heard in Mwanza. So we feel we only have about elections. We can't be pointing fingers at each other and so on. We are going to make sure that the opposition remains united. And do not think because we're now not in Tonse. Actually, we're not in any alliance. That's the first thing that people need to understand. We are not in any alliance. The fact that we are not in Tonse does not mean we don't believe in the opposition. No. And I know Zambians are now worried. People are saying, no, there are confusion in Tonse, there are confusions in Uka, blah, blah, blah. Look, eventually waters will come down. Zambians out there, believe you me, eventually opposition leaders will reach a consensus. Who knows? Maybe we were sent to go to Tonse for a reason and for a purpose. To join Hari Kalaba for a reason and for a purpose. Who knows? Maybe we'll be the channel to bring him to Tonse. Who knows? So anything is possible. We're very much united as opposition. That's why you've seen we are glad that people like President Fred Membe, Dr. Fred Membe, is now in Tonse. That was a plus. We were looking forward to talk to him. Ourselves, actually, we've even invited, when we were in Tonse, we went and talked to President Mwenya. We talked to so many other opposition leaders who are not in Tonse. And some of them have gone to Tonse today, and we are glad. So we have no bridge or serious enmity between us and the Tonse Alliance. No. Like I've said, we are more Tonse than some of the people there.
Do you think that Tonse has been tested, the absence of the leader in ECL?
Yes, it has.
And do you think that Tonse is not Tonse if ECL is not having a hand in it?
Of course. Look, top leadership is very important in running an organization. And when President ECL left, some of us felt very vulnerable. Some of us felt like, hey, can't she? President Lungu embraced all of us. He gave chance to everyone. I'm sure I would cite some few examples. You saw that when President Lungu left, most of the activities that Tonse were doing, to me, they were not even Tonse activities. Those were PF activities. They went into the funeral for our late mother, may her soul rest in peace, Edith Nawakwi, as PF. They went into the by-elections in Nyimba as PF. So most of the people were not considered or brought to the platform when ECL left.
What do you mean they went in as PF? Because obviously their candidate did not stand on PF ticket.
Quite all right. PF ticket, PF, which party are we even calling PF? They're even there in Tonse. Which party are they having as PF? Even the same Mao Sampo was going there. Which PF has it taken? Look, I don't want to go much into some of these issues. But look, Tonse welcomed NCP as a vehicle, which we were all given a chance. We submitted our papers, and President Lungu had an opportunity to choose which party he was going to go for. So we have no problem with working with NCP, because that is a party that we all agreed. Even our candidates were going to stand on. But I've just given you, for example, the recent Nyimba by-elections. Yeah. Tell me which Tonse leader went to Nyimba. You only saw PF there. There's no one else who came from Tonse. And they were saying Tonse is here. Which Tonse?
So it's true that Tonse is PF, no?
Well, if you choose to look at it, to us, we don't agree with that, because we are all there. We were all there, and we all agreed to work together. So if people saw that PF was, maybe it was because some other parties were being suppressed. For example, the adoption. I'll give you an example of a candidate, the Petauke candidate, the one who won.
Yeah.
Show me how many Tonse members have shaken hands with that man. When he won, he became a PF MP. We have never seen him. I'm from Tonse. I've never seen him. Most Tonse leaders have never seen that man. So there were a lot of things that they were doing themselves, and we thought, well, maybe this is going to slow.
So what makes you think you are not a smaller political party into this new eco partnership?
Well, we've drawn documents. We've presented our memorandum of agreements. If you, President Kalaba, wants to work with us, then you must meet this. You must respect us this way. You come in, we come in. We meet halfway. We will not be bulldozed. We will not be pulled.
Wasn't that the case in Tonse, where such
documents were
documents?
Signed, but along the way it was not like that. Along the way it became something else.
What makes you think it would not happen in this partnership?
In the partnership with Calabar?
Yes.
We will simply drag out. If he is going also to drag us where Tonse took us, then we have no choice but to remain on our own.
Madam President.
We believe he's a principled person. From we has moved politically. He's principled and he sticks to his word. And there's a saying to say, Kalaba, Talaba. He doesn't forget. When he promises this is going to happen, it happens just like that. So we looked at the character. Character is very important in anyone's life. So it's the character. President Kalaba, wherever you are watching, if you change character, sir,
we'll leave you.
We'll leave you.
Have you told him that?
We are telling now.
Well, have you told him that before?
Yes.
And what is his response?
He knows that we'll leave you.
He knows. He says, I promise you. And we stand on the promise. He's not somebody who promises today.
Look,
and tomorrow it changes and he says it's 90%.
A different individual. President Kalaba is a different individual.
He's a principled man.
Look, we despite being new, we have, like the president said, we have graduated. We were there in Uka. You know, at a time when Uka was so colorful. Do you know that we were the first ones to leave Uka? Maybe you're not aware.
Why are you always the ones leaving these alliances?
If we don't agree in principle,
why are you always the first ones to leave?
And show me where we left.
The bigger question is, why are you the first ones to leave?
Maybe we are
the first ones in and first ones out.
Maybe we are the first ones to be very sensitive to see that here we are dealing the Zambian people. The Zambian people are suffering. We can't still be here. We left Uka. Where is Uka today? You know, so we foresee things. Some of us are privileged even to see things from the spirit. You know, we see things that people cannot see. For people to start realizing, can't she so if as we are very objective, we analyze things to the latter. And when we make a decision, believe me, it's a decision that eventually will be vindicated.
Before I ask you to conclude, let me quickly just go through what I have on our Facebook page. Reggie Charlie, my president and my SG. Leonard Piri says, Leonard Piri watching from Kanyama, my apostle Mwanza. I see you, sir. Ray J comes back that he forgot to say he's watching from Charleston, actually. On the point, Madam President, still Ray J Charlie. And this one from Brian Mutal says the monthly adjustments of fuel price, it has brought problems on the economy of our country. Dennis Kamuela says watching from Russia. And Joseph Chikwekwe says opposition, we need to be united so that we get out of this Boyanjada. Let me ask you to make your concluding remarks. I'll start with the Secretary General, sir.
New Era Democratic Party, we are very much members of the opposition. We are not in any agreement with UPND, like some people think. We have decided to be where we are today out of principle, and the Zambian people must not get worried. We are their eyes. Even in the same unity that people are calling for, we are beyond what the Zambian people can see, because some of us are privileged to be in those meetings. And whatever we are doing, it is in the best interest, number one, of our party, and also the best interest of the Zambian people. We will not go into any agreement that seems to be dragging people behind, because in 2026, we want UPND to pack and go. In 2026, President Hakainde Hichilema must leave State House. That is if he's even in State House anyway. But we want to make sure that the Zambian people are liberated from the suffering that UPND has brought. So we are not getting any chola from anyone. We are making sure that we become equal partners in saving the Zambian people. Thank you.
Madam President.
Thank you very much. I think the SG has said it all. I know a lot of people have been asking, who is this Exildah? We don't know. I'm sure today people have known my genesis and where I am today. We look forward to saving the Zambian people as opposition. And I want to trust every opposition leader should come together and speak one voice. The time we are spending fighting, name calling, and this time is running, and UPND is happy actually about what is happening. So if we are not careful, we end up forming alliances that will not be fruitful. I thank you.
I thank you very much. First of all, Mr. Simon Mwanza, the Secretary General of the New Era Democratic Party. And I thank you, Madam President, Madam Exildah Mwenya, President of the New Era Democratic Party. It was a pleasure hosting you here the first time. I'm impressed. And I can only wish you all the best going forward. And I'm sure that we will have an interaction again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Well, listeners, that's what we had for you today on our Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. We were also live, remember, on our partner radio stations, Tuta FM in Mwanza. We were live on ZFM in Kapiri, live on the Copper Belt on Platinum Radio in Ndola, and on Spice FM in Kabwe, and here on the Happy World of 5 FM Radio in Lusaka and the surrounding areas. So we will be back with our Thursday edition again. Thursday edition of The Burning Issue, God willing, on Thursday. But from us all now is take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week for another edition of The Burning Issue, and thank you for your participation. Democracy and freedom of